Hey everyone, this is Zach from AY Vision. Today we'll be speaking with Ivan, founder of Nomadz, a Web3 startup that lets people spend crypto on their travels. This is the second episode of interview podcasts with Web3 startup founders. So, Ivan, thank you for making some time to join us today and tell us a bit about your journey. What I'd like to know right off the bat is how you got into Web3 in the beginning. What made you, get to where you are now? So tell us a bit about how did you get into the space? Were you introduced? Did you find it interesting and maybe put in more time and energy into it? Tell us a bit about that.
Hey Zach, it was great to join your podcast. Speaking about my journey, I have a legal background. I worked as a lawyer in international pharmaceutical companies for 4 years. At the same time, I was doing different projects and startups since my childhood. The first small business that I started was Pokemons with caps when I was 7 years old. And then I did a lot of things from coffee shops to hardware company. I joined crypto as a lawyer in the beginning of 2016. My friend Vladimir wanted to launch his ICO, and he asked me if I can help him with the legal part. So I was at the same time working full-time in the company as a lawyer, and I helped him to structure this ICO, which was not successful, so he wasn't able to raise the round back then in 2016. That's how I
Very
was
early on.
introduced.
That's very
Yeah.
early on. Most people, I feel like, that I speak to today would have come in at like 2021 at the peak of the NFT bull run. 2016 is pretty early though. It's cool that the profession that you were studying actually led you to get into the space that you're working in now, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing legal advice or legal work for this crypto startup. So that you would say that is how you stayed here basically in the space. Did you find it interesting, or were you offered other opportunities after working for them?
Yes, actually, I'm sorry. Let me
No,
turn off just,
no worries.
that should be better. Um, so I will come back.
No worries.
Yes, I started as a lawyer, but it was just an entry point for me. I invested in crypto, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP in the beginning of 2016. I remember when I came to the office of my friend, and he brought an investor who was sending me BTC and getting my first $3,000 investment back then.
Nice.
And I decided just to buy and hold some assets. And the market was, of course, performing very well. So in a year, I decided to quit my job and fully focused on crypto. I did a lot of analytical research about assets, writing in Facebook and other social medias. And then in 2018, I got my first official job offer from the family office called Platinum. So it
Okay.
was May 2018. I worked there as an analyst for 3 months, and
So
then
this
I
was
was
the first.
promoted.
Okay, the first job offer after leaving the place that you did legal for, right? So
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of your
So
first professional offer in crypto. Okay.
yeah. I was nomading, living in different places at the same time. I was doing analytical work, and they saw my reports and they reach out to me via Facebook, which is quite unique, I can say. I found job in Facebook. And we had some interviews, and I was accepted. So I traveled to Thailand, spent some time there as well,
I was
and
about to
became.
say that you mentioned you were nomading. Did you start working from home in your home country, and then did you travel like to Southeast Asia? Because it's typically
Yes.
popular where people go. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I started to work online, and then I traveled for some team meetings, and then I grew up to a portfolio manager role. I worked in this family office for 3 years, And then I was accepted for studies in the US. It was a program organized by US government for talents from Ukraine, for investors and founders.
Nice.
So I decided to quit my job to study. It was great experience. We explored startup and investment ecosystem in the US, from Washington, D.C. to Austin, San Diego, LA, and other cities. And
A very good
the most
opportunity.
important, yeah, it was great opportunity, and the most important that I found two friends and my future partners, Dima and Taras.
Nice.
Taras was successful entrepreneur. He did an exit from the company that he built from scratch, working with brands like Apple and Google, providing them different types of services. And Dima was managing a startup accelerator and also investing for a while in crypto. So he also decided to quit. And we merged our forces, our energy, and decided to start an investment firm called 3x Capital. So
I
now it's a
I saw it on your Twitter profile. So obviously you have Nomadz that you founded. You have this capital venture as well that you are doing with your partner, right? Um.
yeah
Uh, okay.
with two partners
And
with
what timeline is
Dima.
this? What year are we talking? Like,
Yeah, I started the firm in 2021.
okay,
Um, yeah, so we haven't raised any funds. We have a privately owned firm, so it's only three of us. And we invested in different early stage deals. Also, we are validators and we provide liquidity to different DeFi protocols.
okay, okay. That's very cool. I definitely want to go back on the venture a bit later. For now, actually, I want to know a bit more about Nomads. I know that you guys are offering or allowing people to spend their crypto when booking for travels and stuff like that. Well, what inspired, that problem to be solved? More and more you're seeing startups allowing people to spend their crypto because the world has not yet fully adopted it. You're not able to spend it as comfortably as you want. So it's great to see startups that are solving that problem in different areas because you can spend your money in many ways. You can't really spend your crypto in many ways. So tell me a bit about how Nomad started, what inspired you to start, and yeah, just a bit about that.
Yeah, as you know, I was working in crypto full time for a while. So the majority of my assets were in crypto. At
You're
the
right.
same time, I was traveling a lot. As of now, I travel to more than 40 countries. I lived in the US, in many countries in Europe. I lived in Asia, in Dubai. So at
Like
the same time,
20, you visited like 20% of the entire world.
probably, yeah. I was all the time when I was traveling, I needed to convert my crypto into traditional money to fiat.
Right.
So it usually takes additional time to wait when the transaction will be done. Plus, I
Fees.
used to I used to pay usually around 2 to 3% fee on the conversion, and then I pay to Booking.com. And as you know, Booking.com and other platforms, they charge
Even
hosts
more
and
fees.
guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were thinking in the beginning to build a platform similar to Airbnb, where from one side you have hosts and from another side you have guests.
Right.
We built an MVP and we understood that it's not scalable.
Okay.
So we went to the founders villa in Dubai, organized by Super Team UAE, and we decided to pivot from the platform idea to the booking aggregator. So now Nomads is it's like a marketplace of bookings
Okay.
that we aggregate from 320 booking partners, including Expedia, Travel.com, and some others. So basically, we aggregate bookings and allow you to pay in USDC on Solana. We will add other cryptocurrencies a bit later. We just want to go one by one, basically onboarding different cryptocurrencies and doing different marketing campaigns together with them.
Okay.
Um, on top of this, we have built a gamification. So now users can earn XP, they can level up, they can mint different achievements, badges, complete quests, invite
So
their
is this
friends to
a reward?
participate.
Is this like a reward system for the platform where they can spend the rewards in the platform itself?
Not yet, but we have some plans in mind
Okay,
how we will do it. And just in 2 weeks, we will introduce our seasons. So something that we were planning for a while. But as you know, like being an early stage founder, you need to properly test your
right.
product and get some feedback from the market. So last 3 months, we onboarded a bunch of users and get a lot of feedback, improved our product, and
I think
soon we
it's
will be.
important to like release the product bit by bit, not all at once. So like that, you get, the feedback from your community that's actually using the product, and you can, um, uh, slowly implement new updates as they,
Yes.
deserve to be implemented, rather than just, releasing everything and things don't work.
Yeah.
So I want, how's the timeline like? From when you guys had the idea to when it actually went live or in beta. How long did this take?
Yeah. For the first version, it took around 3 months. It was not a successful version. We had a lot of additional questions. So I just spoke about Airbnb type platform
Right.
where you have hosts and guests. So there are a lot of legal things that
Obviously.
needs to be
Yeah.
done in every region when you are doing property management business. And of course, we struggle to onboard a proper amount of hosts
Right.
and guests at the same time.
Because there's
So
so
the
much competition, it's just, I mean, insanely difficult, probably.
yeah. So that's why we decided to open the doors and build something that is quite easy for us from the legal
Okay.
standpoint and from the standpoint where we start. So the first Airbnb type platform was built in the beginning of previous year. And the new platform we launched in May this year.
Okay.
So we pivoted in September to a new platform. Before it was called Rentspace. Now it's Nomadz.
Okay.
And the difference is that we position ourselves as an aggregator for travelers. Now it's accommodations, but later it will be flights, it will be cars.
So right now
Um,
we're primarily on accommodation, so like hotels and like properties that are not hotels, like houses and villas and flats. And then you
yes,
guys are going to expand to actually booking in flights, maybe taxis, car rentals,
yes,
stuff like that.
yes.
Okay. Sort of like how booking.com is like an all-in-one hub. I feel like they also started with accommodation strictly, and then they moved on to, flights, car rentals and stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, we exploring AI agent. So I'm thinking about user who can switch the mode between traditional search that you used to, where you put the destination, guests, and dates,
Right.
to just a space where you can write anything, and our agent will find you the proper accommodation based on
Ah,
your request.
so like
Um,
maybe saying I want a resort by the beach in Europe, and then it will give you like maybe like a trip planner or something.
Yeah. And the integration will be made with Google Maps. So you will see a lot of
Okay.
details on Google Map, for instance. You are searching for the hotel near the beach for specific dates for 3 people with 2 bars or a disco club nearby.
Okay.
So it will be able to find all this information and also help you to plan your road.
Okay.
In the city where you are traveling.
So from a consumer's perspective, are you guys do you guys act like as a middleman for the booking? For example, if I go and make a booking with a hotel, are you guys doing that on my behalf, and then I send you guys the crypto, or is it all can I book in real time? Like for example, I can just go and pay and book, or do you guys need
Mm.
to do it on my behalf since since I'm paying in
Yeah.
crypto,
So
right?
yeah. So how it works? We aggregate stays through APIs,
Okay.
and we have agreements with partners. So based on these agreements, we pay for bookings that were already made in fiat, and you pay to us in USDC.
Right. So you
And
guys are paying in fiat, and you and then the consumer pays you guys in crypto.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Consumer pays in USDC, and then we off ramp through Backpack Exchange. So it's
Okay.
1-to-1. We don't
Through
lose
Backpack.
anything
Right.
on fees.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I would have assumed you would use Backpack because I noticed you have a Mad Lads on your
yeah.
profile. I really like that project actually.
Me too.
Okay, that's actually quite interesting. Okay, so that's a bit about Nomads. Very cool. So, and a bit of a more general approach. I want to talk about startup founders. You know, what motivates them, how do they function. You've had quite the experience, I would say, almost 10 years. You know, if you had one piece of advice for startup founders, what would it be? You know, I'm sure you've made some mistakes, perhaps that if you could go back in time, you'd change them. You've had quite the experience with several startups outside of Nomads. So, in your experience, do you have any mistakes that you did where you tell other founders to, not do them?
Of course, I made mistakes, and I'm still making them every day. The major kind of thing that I understood for myself, that you need to be very fast and iterate as fast as possible. So build a simple product, launch it, get feedback from customers.
So, speed,
Um,
very important. I agree.
yeah, for startups, the speed is crucial, and then adaptability. So when you see the market is changing, when you see some new kind of trends, new opportunities,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So when you see these opportunities, you need to adapt your product, your team to the new changes, and then go from there.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, I think speed is super, super important. Not only because of so much competition, right? I mean, if you get outworked, it's not very good for you, is it? So speed, very important. Adaptability. I totally agree. Things are changing all the time, and if your business cannot adapt, then you're gonna fall behind. So I very much agree. I want to know, Ivan, if you have anything that motivates you specifically. I know that everyone is motivated in different ways. I mean, why do you keep building these startups? Is there a level that you want to reach where you're going to take a break and be like, okay, I did this, I did enough? So what motivates you to keep going forward, to keep building more? I mean, you've been in the space for 9 years and you don't seem to be wanting to stop. So my question is there something specific that motivates you to keep on going forward, to keep, you know, um, uh, um, building, to keep on getting your ideas into actual life? Tell
Yeah,
me.
I can say that in every project that I start, I have different motivations. So why I'm doing this. For instance, Nomads, it's all about freedom, freedom for travelers to pay as they want and to get better deals. In terms of my investment firm and what we are doing with our accelerator, we also have venture launch accelerator. My motivation is to learn and to work with founders and to, of course, increase my capital. So to invest, as the result of all my activities is in profits that I make. So I think that over time, all these initiatives, they, as a result, bring to me more freedom. And freedom is something that I
I was about to mention
prioritize.
that.
Yeah, so freedom is top one priority for me, and investments and of course startups, they can bring this freedom to me, and it's great if my startup can bring freedom to other people as well. So
Right.
at some point, for instance, if founders with whom I worked will be successful, they will be they will have more freedom and their families will be more happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, so second point that motivates me, it's curiosity. So I'm excited about the technologies, about longevity, about blockchain technologies, of course.
There's always
So
something to learn. I feel like it's like a
yes.
never ending knowledge competition, There's so much to take in.
Yeah,
Um,
even now in my position, I'm learning a lot. I spending weekends reading, exploring documents of other projects,
Right.
writing some ideas, notes to myself, and sharing some ideas in social media, some thoughts. So for me, like learning, it's probably second major motivation after freedom.
It's crazy. I mean, how even almost being in crypto for a decade, there are still things that, excite you to learn,
Yeah,
I feel like not every niche can say that, we're being 10 years into it, 10 years deep into it, there are still things that you have no clue where they came from or what they're about. Okay.
yeah.
I agree with those. I think those are good, definitely some good motivators. You definitely mentioned meeting founders and other people in the space. Obviously, when you worked with these startups, you definitely didn't do it alone, or for the most part, you definitely needed help. And I want to know, are there some tips and tricks into building a good team to work alongside you? I know that having a good team for a startup is very important. You guys need to all be focused on the same goal. There has to be a collective goal that you guys are working towards. Have you had troubles finding the right people to join you in any of your startups? Do you have any, tips for perhaps other founders that are looking to build a team? Where do they find these people? Where are they going to find the right people to join them?
Yeah, of course. I'm still having sometimes trouble to find people for specific positions. My suggestion will be here just to hire and fire very fast.
Hire and fire. Okay.
Yeah. So, for instance, just 2 weeks ago, I hired a social media manager. Usually, based on our agreement, we have 1 week probation period. So if something is not working in 1 week, if person is not, for instance, replying or doing something that we planned, or making the same mistakes during that 1 week, uh, we kind of say goodbye and
All
we
right.
move forward.
Okay.
So it's very, you know, mm, it's very important to be like connected to humans, but
Mhm.
at the same time, it's a company, it's your business, so you need to set up proper standards for yourself and for your employees. And if someone is not delivering the standard, it's time to move forward without this person. So that's what I learned, to hire people fast, see how
I
they
totally
work,
agree.
and move forward if something is not working. Even one mistake, like in my case, person should have presented his content plan on Wednesday. On Thursday, I fired him because no content plan was shared with me.
I
So
would like to argue that especially in startups, people, especially founders, have limited resources, so it costs money for people to work. And if at the beginning, you're wasting payroll on people that are not delivering,
yeah,
especially when you are a startup and when you could use that money for something else, it's very vital, very important. And as you said, fire and hire. I agree. And it has to be done swiftly.
yeah.
Probationary periods, that's actually a very, very good advice, especially before signing a contract or before making any major commitments. It's good to know how the person you're employing is, in a week's work.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Usually that's enough because you communicate every day. You do some work together every day, so you understand very
Yeah,
quickly. I'm so happy that this week we hired a great talent who is working perfectly, like for the last 2 days.
that's
So
good.
it makes me happy, and I see how responsible he is, how active he is, how many questions he has. So that's something that we need to stick to, like this curiosity.
Have you ever
When there is,
trained any employees? I know some founders, perhaps they think training their employees is good, which I believe as well. I think it's important to train certain people because obviously they cannot read your mind, right? So sometimes I think training can be useful. Do you agree that maybe training your team, how to work, how to operate, how to be efficient? Do you agree with that?
of course, we have guidelines for, and onboarding process for every new employee, of course.
Okay. Okay. Okay then. So now a bit of a more I want to know, let's say you didn't ever discover crypto, let's say you were never, I don't know, asked to help with legal back in 2016. If you weren't doing crypto, what do you think you'd be doing? I mean, probably law, but do you see yourself in a different, perhaps field, or do you know right now, hey, if things go wrong, or if I get bored of this, or if I get tired, like, do you have a plan B, or do you have an idea of what else you'd like to use your time for?
Yeah, I'm interested in real estate development and management.
Okay,
So this is something that my family was doing, and something that inspires me a lot, the architecture and new projects, like new
development.
big
Yeah.
projects.
Okay.
Yeah, also kind of recovering historical parts of my country, of Ukraine,
Good.
something that I want to do. It's very complicated from the legal standpoint, but it can be done. And I see more and more like
So
successful cases where
archaeology, stuff like that.
more like restoring old buildings
Okay, okay, restoration.
and
Okay,
yeah,
so
and
like
creating like
historical landmarks and sites. Okay,
yeah, and creating like a cultural places where people can dance, go to the library, or just drink some wine. So something that will bring people together in a
okay.
historical place. So
You don't
I'm
always
very
hear that.
passionate about this.
I like that. You don't always hear people interested in perhaps their history. I think it's actually quite important. In Malta, we actually have a very large amount of sites here because
Hmm.
very old country, old island. So I like that.
Hmm.
Were you actually ever close to quitting Web3? Did you have any moments where you were like, I want to take a break from the space, try something else, or were you, or were there never any of those moments?
No, no, just I wanted to plan Vipassana, like 10 days of silence in the retreat center this May, but I
Okay.
decided that it will be not possible for me because we were launching the product and I had to
I see.
stay and keep my team motivated and keep them working
Right.
hard.
Right.
So I decided to skip this. In general, like during the past 9 years, I have never wanted to stop or pause. And even now, for me, taking breaks on weekends can be a bit complicated, as
That's
I'm
true.
always eager to learn and always eager to build something.
The reason I ask is because I feel like Web3 moves extremely fast. It can be very tiring, especially if people, are building a startup. They're working on the side as well, in addition to building on the startup. And sometimes, well, almost all the time, it won't be successful immediately, and so it can be very, obviously disappointing and difficult to continue after something you put so much time in while you have a life of your own. It can be very difficult to move on, but I'm glad that in these 9 years you've always kept pushing forward, and I think that's um, something that founders should always consider when building in a startup. Nothing will always work 100% of the time. There's always things to change, always things to fix, and
Yeah.
can definitely be a bumpy journey, to get to where you want to be. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I agree here. So basically, there are two main kind of rules in the world. That first of all, everything is changing all the time, and
All the
second, that things are becoming more complicated from the moment when the Earth was created till the moment where we are traveling to other planets and
right.
planning some multi-planetary future.
A lot more
Um,
competition, I would say.
yeah.
Um, uh,
Yeah,
I feel like nowadays there are more people who are interested in taking a risk and trying something out for themselves. Perhaps this is a common trend, especially for guys or people in their 20s. I feel like they're taking more of a risk nowadays than in the past.
hmm
Have you got any controversial opinion on the space of Web3 that perhaps other people might disagree with you on? Is there something where that you think, or any opinion on Web3 basically, where and not many people would agree with you on.
Yeah, I will say that almost 100% of projects, they don't need a token. It doesn't make sense to launch any token that will be used for payments in your ecosystem, in your startup. There is a huge lack of deep understanding of technologies and understanding on why you need to decentralize your protocol.
Right.
So there is a huge demand to make a lot of money fast.
Right. I mean, that's the whole reason, right? They want to raise funds, launch a token. I mean, there are thousands of tokens being fucking minted every week, probably, you know?
Yeah.
Compared to the past, I mean, if you go in 2017, it was like maybe a few a month. But, you know, there are so many launch pads now. It's just such a big trend. Any protocol is releasing them. I mean, do you think the main motivator for releasing a token is raising capital for the startup?
No. The main motivator is to doing exit fast. So when you are a founder who has only company, the exit period will be on average from 3 to 10 years. So it's a long period of time. When you launch a token, you can do it much faster.
Okay.
And there will be like more probability that you will make this exit, because not all companies they are moving to public in terms of their equity,
Okay.
or not all companies are going through acquisition process or something where founder can make an exit.
Okay.
So the majority of founders are building the companies in Web3 to launch a token and make an exit from it.
Okay, I see.
It's as simple as that.
I mean,
Yeah.
fair enough. I also believe that not every protocol needs to release a token. It's just, I feel like it's a very messy space right now where you don't even know which tokens make sense, which don't. It's definitely harder to you know, to get an idea of what protocols need to release a token and what don't. You mentioned decentralization. I want to ask you, do you think crypto should be entirely decentralized? In which cases does centralization need to be adopted? In which cases does it not need to be adopted? People in crypto, they typically have mixed feelings on this. Typically, whenever it suits them, they think one or the other makes more sense. So the question is, in which cases do we need decentralization, and in which cases do we not need it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in majority situations we don't need it. Sometimes for security reasons, for instance, how Bitcoin was launched, decentralization worked very well from the beginning. But in majority of the cases where founders are trying to just exit as soon as possible, like recently the story, protocol founder did an exit in 3.5 years.
Right.
From the company that almost haven't generated any revenue.
And they raise a shit ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
So this is just an example of how I think things shouldn't be done. I think founders should prioritize making their companies profitable, or at least break even as fast as possible. And then when they grow, when they have community and they understand that token will be a crucial part of the product, launch it. So before that period, like building community because of the token, you will invite only airdrop hunters and people who want to make very fast
People that
profits.
want to basically farm your token and that's it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned community. I actually want to ask you, for startups, perhaps even for nomads, did you find that community building was a deep priority for you guys? Does every single startup need to focus on building a community? What types of startups need to focus on building a community? What are your thoughts on that?
For us, it was important part from the beginning to build a community of people who are in Web3 and who are actively traveling.
Okay.
Why? Because when we launched a product, when we pivoted, we had a group of people who already knew us and wanted to contribute, giving their ideas, helping us to build the product,
So that initial user
managing
base,
communities.
yeah. So
Yeah,
the
initial.
community was basically the initial user base. That's why you guys needed to have that prior to launch.
Yeah, but not just a user base, more like contributors who are building product with you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
So
they're
that,
constantly reporting feedback to you. So
yes.
that's a very good plus. Okay.
Yes. So I think it is needed in Web3, especially if you are planning token launch at some point. You will need someone who will believe in you, who will hold your token or stake it,
Right.
and not just dump it
Right.
on the TG.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I actually was wondering, are there cases where perhaps mass marketing will beat building a community? For example, let's say you're a startup, you want to launch the product. You have a small community, but you have, where would you put your energy into mass marketing the product or just strictly focusing on building the community?
Hmm.
Because I mean, I'm sure you've seen, startups, they market so much, but they have a very low user base. So how would you leverage mass marketing if you had the capital to do so?
Hmm. So I think that community is crucial. Even a small group of 20 people who are online, who are giving you feedback, who are sharing your ideas, contributing to your product, it's great. But of course, they will not be able to bring you like millions of users. So you need to do a lot of marketing campaigns,
Right.
test, analyze what works, what not, and plan new strategies, adjust based on the market feedback. So I can say both community and marketing are important.
Okay.
Um, just mentioning that without like a group of people who are supporting you from the beginning, who are believing in you,
Yeah.
who are giving you like a lot of advice and feedback, it will be hard to build a product that people with similar profiles need, because
Exactly.
you cannot get this feedback from Twitter ads, for instance. If you put like, I don't know, $100,000 in Twitter ads,
It's
you
true.
will get
Yeah.
some likes, some engagement, but no one will write you like the feedback or something is not working. So maybe you will get some users from there, but
But in the long
community
run, it's not
members.
really, I feel like it's not really helping you that much. And I'd like to argue that perhaps community building makes more sense to be built first and then focus on mass marketing when the product is near perfect after you got that feedback from the community.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you're going to spend so much capital, you're going to get very little return on your investment. Whereas if you focus on the community, which should be the priority even when you've made it, right? Because without them, things sort of collapse, right? I mean, if you
Hmm.
don't have like that, diehard community and that loves your product and wants it to improve constantly, then um, changes to the product will take longer because you're getting barely any feedback. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you said a great summary. I even suggest founders to build community first before you start building a product.
Hmm.
You go to your community, you interview them, you get some valuable feedback on your idea, and then you build a product.
Right.
Otherwise, you can spend months, years building the product that no one is interested to use.
Exactly.
So that's a big problem, and I know a lot of great developers, very talented, building products but never launching them. Why you're building? Because I want to build it, because I love building. But people building things that no one wants, and that's a problem. That's a waste of time.
Yes. It's an
So
unfortunate reality, but that's the reality, you know what I mean? No matter how good you are or no matter even if the product is very good, if you don't have a community that actually uses it or gives you feedback, you might not love the product as much. Whereas if you have multiple people using it, that's very rewarding as a builder. It makes you perhaps want to keep going forward. Whereas if nobody's using the product, it can be excellent, right? But at the end of the day, it's the community that will actually get it to the place that it needs to be. Otherwise, as you said, you can be very talented and it just won't go your way. I'd like to jump on one final topic. You guys mentioned that you have a capital fund with a partner that you've met in the past. Um, um, what do you look for in startups that are trying to raise capital via these funds, via these grants, via these venture capitalists? What do you guys look for? I'm sure you can easily tell who deserves the capital, who doesn't deserve it. Is there a fine line? Can you instantly tell whether a founder is somebody that you want to work with or somebody that you want to fund? Tell us, if I was a founder, give me some tips on how I would approach this.
Yeah, I will be searching for three things, and if any of three is missing, I'm not interested to invest. So first of all, it's intelligency. So I think that founder had to learn and understand the market where he is building. For instance, if founder is building a booking aggregator, at least he should be using similar type of solutions for years. He should understand competitors. He should be passionate about it. Second, it's energy. Energy is something that makes us working hard to push through the borders our team,
Right.
to ship products fast,
Especially
to
when you don't feel like working, you still need to, push
yeah,
through.
yeah. In terms of energy, I think that founders who prioritize their health, who are focused on kind of sports, meditation,
Definitely, I
healthy
agree.
lifestyle, they have more energy. They are properly fit to all these challenges that will happen.
If you have a
Definitely,
healthy body, you definitely have a healthy mind. It's
yeah.
very
Yeah, in general, I think it's a big issue in founders. We did a couple of wellness programs for founders. This year we did Solana Temple, which was a month-long program in Bali for
oh, nice.
105 people. And also we are doing Solana Prospera, which is also a bootcamp for founders focused on Solana ecosystem.
I'm really glad that
So
you're pushing on this. It is extremely important. Especially if you want to, be able to produce and to be productive in the long run, you definitely need a
yes,
healthy body. Otherwise, the body will shut down on you. You won't be able to consistently perform. And obviously that will reflect in whatever you're building. So I
yeah,
think
it
that's
it
really
it,
important.
it will reflect on everything, and I'm not speaking just about physical health. It's also about mental health. So people who are um, conscious about their mental health, like who are meditating, having psychotherapy, and reading and being curious about it, usually they perform much better. They're more like calm. They're
Exactly.
satisfied.
They
They're
can
happy.
manage their stress well. Obviously, as a founder, you really need to manage your stress well because you're gonna be dealing
Yes.
with it on a daily basis. Many people are relying on you. You have a lot to perform, a lot of responsibility, and that can take a toll on you. Especially if
Yes.
you're doing this day to day. So you need to be able to manage it. And as you said, otherwise it will reflect in your work definitely. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
And third thing, just to finish my
Definitely, yeah.
thought, it's honesty. So if person is not afraid to say, yeah, I made a mistake, something is wrong, I'm not doing it properly, um, can you help me, and can you solve this situation? If person recognize his mistakes and is ready to improve and honestly speaks with you all the time, I think it deserves a lot of respect. and this is a type of personality that I want to deal with. Yeah, all three together makes a perfect combination for a founder, like being intelligent, being driven,
being passionate about what you're doing, health,
yeah,
very important, and lastly we said honesty. Honesty is very important as well. If you're working with a team, people should be able to trust you. You should be able to give it as it is. Especially if you're going to be a founder, people look up to you, and you should be, expressing these things. Okay. Ivan, thank you very much for the answers to all these questions. I think we had a very good conversation, and I think that anybody who is looking to start up something as a founder will definitely take some good advice from what they've watched today. Um, uh, if there's anything you'd like to say as a closing remark, perhaps for Nomads, for anything else, feel free to share anything you might want to share. But otherwise, it's been a pleasure to have you on the second episode.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to be here. Something that I want to mention, just to prioritize your freedom, your health, your family, and everything will be fine with you. The market might be challenging, but if you have this inner peace, and if you are healthy, if your family is happy, everything will be fine.
I agree.
And the market will not.
You need to zoom out and see what's really important,
Yeah. Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Ivan. Like I said, it was great talking with you. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for sharing your experience with us in the space. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to speak with you,
Bye bye.
Zach. Bye bye.